Hello, my name is Silverette, and today I will be summarizing my thoughts on the demo for The Hungry Town. The Hungry Town is an interactive visual novel game developed and published by a small indie studio called Kick Punch Games. I'm pretty sure this is their first game, at least that's what it shows on the Steam site. But the game starts with Spike, a reclusive vampire who finally goes out after getting an invite from an old friend. We don't know much about the friend, we don't really know much about Spike, we just know he got an invitation and he decides to go. Immediately, it goes into the image of the chapter 1, Enlighten You, revealing that it's going to be a chaptered game, which I have no qualms about. But the one thing that I do like, is very minor, but I do like it, is that the cursor icon is a drop of blood, which for a vampire game is just the small details. For me, the best part of the demo was the characters we met. We started off with Stuart, who was like a lovable nerd. We got some of his backstory, some of his problems, but his introduction kind of set the tone. He seemed like an average guy, but as soon as we started talking to him, we realized that it was a potential problem brewing, showcasing the downsides of the Hungry Town, which we don't have a name for, and the potential problems that we, the protagonist Spike, will have to go through being a vampire. But it also set off the world building that's obviously here. And then we have us, Spike. Obviously, Spike is an intelligent man, but the interactions we have as the player gives us the ability to kind of set the tone of his personality with the very first character choice we were presented with, which was may honestly going through either choosing aggression, compassion, or maybe or logic. At least that's what I got from it. All in all, I think the demo did a great job introducing the world and highlighting the characters we met, which also included Joyce and Miss Lu Wang, two women who honestly set the tone for the fantasy side of what this game does. Joyce was captivating. Her backstory, what we read about, what we knew about her, was great. But Miss Lu Wang was that character that was like, oh, from introduction, I was like, I want to know more about her. Hopefully, I don't die in the process. She was just amazing. Next, we have the lore and the world building. While the dialogue sets a good picture of what the world and Spike's situation is with those around him, the notes, which is something we get access to fairly early in the game via the phone, gives us information that shades into picture that's already being drawn with the dialogue. So we read up on things like blood, humans, the people we know that we've met so far, the vampire, like being a vampire, what vampire society is, what we know about Joyce. And this honestly helps us so much because it gives us information on what Spike knows. And it's already kind of insinuated that he doesn't really know that much about the world. He just knows was what his creator has shared with him so far. He's honestly still a fairly recent person. Everyone he knew when he was human is still alive in the world, which brings a really good situation idea where, okay, we're a vampire. However, we still have that connection to our human side because they're still alive, but we also don't know everything we should about the society that we're now a part of. And now we've talked about my major part of all games, which is characters, world and lore, world building, um, progressions. That is something that I love in a game, which is why I like narrative and story lore games. But now I just want to go into my likes, mixed feelings, and dislikes of some of the things that was in this demo. And let's start off with the mini game. And the mini game, which was only really one that we came across in the demo, it just felt out of place. I felt like it really wasn't necessary. Like it was just put there for the sake of being there. It can obviously be fixed, like just putting something that make it feel like there's a sense of urgency, like there's a consequence if we don't do this correctly. But there was none of that, so it just felt like, okay, hi everyone, this is a mini game for you to do in the midst of all of the dialogue. And it's a visual novel. I don't really mind the dialogue. But the mini game kind of threw me off because I just felt like it really wasn't needed. Next is the eye icon. I don't dislike it. I actually like that it's there. It's like a tap button on a CRPG, or so it's just something for us to click before we exit a scene or exit an area, for us to make sure that we clicked on everything that's interactable before we go to the next thing. Next is the conversation, the conversational choices. It's, I don't want to say rare, but I do like when choices that's given to me in the game makes me feel like each choice won't eventually bring me to the same freaking branch. And this is a demo, so I could be wrong. But every choice felt like it was important, and what I chose mattered with the person I was speaking to and the subject at that time. From the very first choice we had, it was like, okay, this is setting the tone for who Spike is. And then the next few choices, it was like, okay, now I understand. Well, what happens if I do this? Maybe this is wrong, but do I feel like this is the right choice for the moment? And I do like that because making a making a choice seem pivotal, not just to the moment, but to the story matters. And a lot of games give you choices, but it just changes maybe two or three parts of dialogue, but eventually goes back to the same ending before the scene ends. And I do like that outcome. I like the idea. And like I said, this is a demo, so I could be way off the mark. But I like the idea of feeling like it actually matters. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is the voiceover. It's a very mixed bag. Spike is probably one of the best, like just like Joyce is probably one of the best that's spoken. Stewart is kind of all over the place. Some of the inflections are off, but this is a demo, so it may get better, it may change. But that's just one of the things that threw me because in some parts it's really good, and in other parts it's like, okay, it's there, I appreciate it. It's just off. All in all, I do think it was a good demo. It did a great job introducing the world and highlighting the characters we met. The dark fantasy is there, along with the foundation of a good visual novel, where whether your choices matters. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed this summary of the demo. The demo is still up if you would like to download it and try it for yourself. It currently has a release date of March 27th, 2026. But thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic time, and I'll see you on the next one.